Motherless Brooklyn, released in 2019. Movie review. This is directed by Edward Norton, who's also responsible for the screenplay from a novel written by Jonathan Lethem. And the cast: Norton plays the lead role of Lionel Ezrog. Guga Mbatha-Raw plays Laura Rose. And then some heavyweights in the cast. Alec Baldwin plays Moses Randolph. William Dafoe is his brother, Paul Randolph. Bruce Willis plays Frank Mina. He's Lionel's boss. And then other gumshoes are Ethan Suplee, who plays Gilbert Coney, Bobby Cannavale, who plays Tona Vermonte. Cherry Jones plays Gabby Horowitz. She's a civil rights activist. Dallas Roberts plays Danny Frantell. And we also have appearances for Michael Kenneth Williams as the trumpet man. And the mayor is played by Peter Gray Lewis. Okay, so that is Motherless Brooklyn. Now, the awards, it did get a nomination for original score. Excellent that music is, with some input from Wynton Marsalis, but the score to Daniel Pemberton. Now, let's have a quick look at it. Motherless Brooklyn. Written, directed and starring Edward Norton, who is definitely the star of this film. And he plays Lionel Ezrog. Now, the movie title suggests where the movie is set, of course, and also gives an inkling as to the childhood of Lionel. He suffers from Tourette's syndrome, which is a condition that is seen with physical twitches and bursts of wordplay that are usually poetic, not profane, and his brain is constantly at work, looking at details, orientations, and is in constant flux. This, however, does enable Lionel, whose mind is buzzing around, to have a keen sense of photographic memory, which enables him to piece together puzzles of events, which is perfect for this job as a gumshoe. Gumshoe, of course, private detective. He's working for Frank Mina, played by Bruce Willis, and Mina apparently had rescued Lionel and the other gumshoes working for him from an orphanage, and they revere Frank. And so it comes as a huge shock that after Frank goes to a meeting with so-called clients that he ends up dead, and Lionel takes it upon himself to figure out what happened and why. The business is in disarray, and the widow appears not too interested in too much input into this. So there we have it. Now, Lionel's ability at detection opens up a Pandora's box of local government corruption, high-powered figures within the political administration, a dysfunctional family, and private life of the Randolphs, and also the infighting and pressure boots with regard to political decisions regarding corruption at the highest level, basically focusing on a key committee that Randolph controls within local government that decides on housing contracts and housing projects and the huge financial rewards that are apparent. Now, Lionel's trail brings him into contact with a classy jazz trumpeter played by Williams, a female black rights activist played by Mbatha-Raw, two brothers, of course, played by Baldwin and Defoe, and other people on the fringe of this scandal. Continuing with the review of Motherless Brooklyn, actors who take on character parts where the character has an affliction, either physically or psychologically, have through cinema history been provided with parts that cinema goers have witnessed outstanding performances. If you think of Dustin Hoffman in Rayman as an autistic man, and then John Hurt as the Elephant Man, and Al Pacino as a blind man in Scent of a Woman. Well, Edward Norton's performance in Motherless Brooklyn is also formidable. This condition, Tourette's syndrome, is managed with the necessity to work as a gumshoe, a private detective, to establish who murdered Lionel's boss, Frank Mina, played by Bruce Willis. As mentioned, we are in Brooklyn, New York. It's the 50s and the economy is recovering after World War II, and there is a lot of housing development taking place, and politicians and businessmen are joining together in legal and illegal contracts to improve housing within the city. But for who, the question is. Mina's final breaths happen with Lionel kneeling beside him, and as the sound gets weaker and quieter, Lionel attempts to grasp the message. This scene is repeated throughout the film as Lionel's photographic memory tries to piece together the information in his determination to understand why Frank was murdered. Once Lionel is given the green light to pursue clues regarding the murder by acting boss Tommy Vermonte, played by Bobby Cannavale, he takes charge with a nod from Mina's wife. Lionel finds out that Frank was following a black lawyer, Laura Rose. Her father ran a jazz club and was hooked up with the activities of local politician Mo Randolph, played by Alec Baldwin, who just happens to be the most powerful politician in the administration when it comes to housing development contracts and land acquisition in the city. To you and I, that means corruption. Mo was also on the radar of his younger brother, Paul, played by William Defoe. There was certainly some issues about the family, and he was in the know on these matters and aware that his brother would rather that they weren't made public. So he was trying to use it to prise open certain political decisions that would be beneficial for him and for certain interest groups. And so, as you can see, there's a web of malfeasance here to unwind and dissect to get to the source of this hit. I found the whodunit as complex as it goes, but very intriguing. The acting by the main characters was 5-star, and there's a great musical score with input from Wynton Marsalis to help you unravel the wrongs, which were many. As always, a meticulous detecting approach leads to a few beatings for Lionel, but Laura Rose becomes a shoulder to rest on and an aid to help explain what's going on. And we see a determined Lionel, persistent to the extreme. We also get a taste of systematic racism and the usual catalogue of oppression of society's weakest members. It also has some memorable scenes, none more so than when Randolph Baldwin goes through the benefits following his interventions with Lionel, even if a few casualties have to be sacrificed. It reminds me very much of Baldwin in Glencarrigan Loss, when he delivered a speech on closers in the real estate business. you know, you grab as much as you can, and if there are a few casualties, so be it. Lionel also uncovers that Tony, played by Carnevale, is also on Randall's payroll later on, and he's getting the benefits with Mina's wife. So this is a movie requiring your close attention to slot all the pieces to the jigsaw puzzle in place, but it's worth it because of Norton's labour of love. His direction, his screenplay, and of course his acting is 5-star. It's a classy movie.